artists, to me, aren't good pastors. We on a podcast, so I got to be careful how I say this, but a lot of the singers don't necessarily preach well.
Been married for a long time. How long you been married, man?
29 years.
29 years to the same woman.
To one woman.
To one woman. She your girlfriend,
all
your wife.
She's all that and then some.
So the weird thing is that you don't see that in ministry as much anymore to one wife. Like, right? What parts of ministry did you learn in ministry that you had to kind of bring back to home that was an adjustment? Because 29 years later, she didn't marry a pastor.
No.
She married Jason.
She thought she was marrying the safe one in our family.
And because the other one gonna do something,
right.
That's
and my
Jonathan.
brother James, he is a pastor. She was like, I had no ideation whatsoever for being a pastor. So neither one of us expected it. But when the Lord called me, when I finally said yes, she was like, y'all go ahead. I went in telling the church up front, like, hey, if I got to make a decision between y'all and my family, it's going to be them every time.
Yeah.
Church is always going to take a backseat to my family because the first ministry that God has called us to is family. Church has been feminized. That's the short, easy answer.
Yeah.
We've made the church easy for women and hard for men.
Hey family, welcome to another edition of the Love You More Show. Before we get started, I want to tell you thank you to the thousands of people who subscribe to this channel. We are on our way to 300,000 subscribers. That deserves a bill. They told me that about 63% of our audience are actually just watching and they're not subscribed. So I want to challenge you to become a part of the Love You More family, where we're here for people with hurts, habits, hangups, and heartbreaks, and their journey to loving themselves again. Come on, somebody. Listen, I also have to show major love to my amazing partner, RX Outreach. With this big, beautiful bill, there's been so many people who can no longer afford healthcare, let alone the money that it costs for your medicine. If you have medicine and that medicine is a necessity for your life, or it's just a need that you have, and you say, Willie Mo, I ain't got the money. Listen, let me tell you something. I understand, right? But I have a solution. That solution is RX Outreach. They will make sure that you get your medicine for little to no cost. Sound too good to be true? I thought the same thing. But honestly, it is happening. Just head to rxoutreach.org/Willie Moore Jr. Tell them that your nephew Willie Mo sent you. They may push you through the line a lot quicker. All right? Major love to my partners at RX Outreach. Flat out.
Love You More podcast after this.
Every day, people are forced to make impossible choices. Between their health and their household bills, prescription costs are out of control, but there is help.
The solution is RX Outreach. RX Outreach is the place for you. RX Outreach is a nonprofit pharmacy that's across the entire United States of America. No insurance needed, no hidden fees. So if the price of medication has been holding you back, baby, listen. Help is closer than you think. All you have to do is visit RX Outreach right now in hopes that you can get the prescriptions filled that you need. I want to encourage you to go now. Flat out. Hey, Willie Mo Jr. here. Have you ever had the opportunity to really open up the veil of somebody that you honored so much because of their gift, and you didn't know that was really a strong human that had experiences? Or maybe that's not what you get. Maybe that's not what you've ever done. But when it comes to gospel music and bishops and pastors, sometimes your imagination seems to run away with itself, because you don't think that people actually go through life just because they serve God. In fact, sometimes life is a little bit more unique because of people acknowledging the call. Well, today you get an opportunity who's seen ministry displayed. He's seen a strong example. And then he was able to go on and be the man that he is today because of the strong example. Today, we get the opportunity to hang out with the one and only Pastor Jason Nelson. Flat out. Hey, family, welcome to another edition of the Love You More Show. I'm so grateful that you're here because today my guest is one of the most amazing pastors, worship leaders, artists, and just an all-around great man. Funny story. Of course, many of you all may or may not know, but I have a syndicated radio show entitled The Willie Moore Jr. Show. It touches millions of people every single month. And 10 years ago, when I started, all I had was an opportunity to audition for this show. If I can be honest with you, your nephew ain't never had no job. So audition was so unique for me. The first day I came in super duper churchy. I think I even wore church shoes. You know, the ones with the slide. I think I did that. But the second day I decided, if I'm gonna win or lose, I want to be myself. And we decided that we would win and be ourselves. My first interview was the gentleman that I'm about to introduce you to right now. The one and only Jason Nelson is hanging out with us. What's going on, champion?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Man, I ain't never had it this good, man.
I hear you. I love that.
I'm so grateful that you're here, man. Here on the Love You More show, I like to start with an icebreaker. Now, this isn't some funny joke that lands late. It's actually music. And the name of this song is called Turning Point. Check this out.
You know, when I left that church, my life had changed forever. I realized that moments quickly become memories. So it's important that you spend great moments with your loved ones because you just don't never know. Speaking of loved ones, I was getting picked up by one of my favorite but not so favorite uncles, Uncle G. I mean, he old school, drive a Cadillac, hat to the back, and he knock-kneed as hell, but he's still a good guy. He sometimes joke too quick, but the truth is, he's exactly what I needed during this time to bring me back to earth. He walks up and he says, "Ah, you all right, son?" I'm like, "It's tough." He continues, "I know it, but it's a part of life." He says, "Don't worry about a thing. He's in a better place." That's true. You know I'm crazy, right? I don't know why they say in a better place, he in a box. But you see, I got you laughing already. Laughter is healing for the soul. No matter what it is, laugh it off. Keep laughter in your life no matter what you do, okay? Now get your punk ass in the car. What? Get your ass in the car, Junior. Wow.
See, a lot of people don't understand the game, you know what I'm saying? There's no stability in this, dog. All you living off of is a dream, you know what I'm saying? If people don't buy your music, you don't eat, man. So it do get hard for you sometimes, you heard me? I'm gonna tell you though, for real. Steady striving for stardom, wanting fortune and fame. On my face I'm smiling, in my heart is pain.
I believe we all get tested, go through hell to get our blessings.
I promise at times I wanna break down.
No one understands me.
This time I'm going up, ain't going back down.
If you believe it will be.
Taking proper precautions, times is getting harder. Do what we gotta do to feed our sons and daughters. You wanted a survivor, then you got you one. You just told me to claim it, and that's all I done.
Living in my city street, nobody cares for me.
Oh, oh.
Somebody pray for me, cause I got a destiny.
Oh, oh,
oh. I'm just a man with a dream, striving for the finer things.
oh, oh.
But this is my turning point.
I'm getting everything I want.
Encouraging you to go stream Turning Point right now. It's available wherever you get your music. Pastor Jason Nelson, the name of the song is Turning Point. About 10 years ago or so, you decided to take a really quick pivot and you made a turning point to being Pastor Jason Nelson, right? It's been years now. Like, what is it like as a pastor to get them off of Spotify and really follow your discipleship when they're used to having you on their playlist?
That is a great question. We, at our church, one of the things that I try to tamp down is me as an artist.
Got it.
I never try to lead like the artist.
Got it.
Because the music piece, it does its job, but ultimately, artists, to me, aren't good pastors. We on a podcast, so I got to be careful how I say this, but a lot of the singers don't necessarily preach well or teach well.
Yeah.
Without casting aspersions, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so I try to not fall down that path. So when they come to the church saying, I'm going to Jason Nelson's church, they're not meeting me as an artist at all. They're meeting me as a pastor who has a deep concern for people, for their well-being, wanting them to grow, mature, to become a disciple. That's ultimately what our goal is as a ministry at the Tab. So for me, it's about trying to disabuse them of the fact that an artist is a pastor versus a pastor is an artist.
Yeah. So what example did you see growing up? I see that your brother, he's in ministry, you're in ministry. How did what example did you all have to say, hey man, I'm going to do ministry versus, whatever else you could be doing? Because you got a great voice. My mom always said, don't talk about my mama though. She like, whoever that boy right there is, if he could just sing baby, 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 hell, he out of here. But you are so obedient to the call. Who gave you that example on how to be obedient?
My dad. So I succeeded my dad in ministry. It's been 19 years now.
Good.
And what we saw in our dad was consistency. He dug into the word. He was always what he preached. Like we didn't see a phony, and I've seen the opposite where you have these people who are kind of just doing whatever they want to do and they come and preach. But my dad wasn't that. Yeah. Like what we saw on the pulpit is what we saw at home. And so for us, all we saw was the authenticity of ministry. We saw what it meant to love God. We saw what it meant to struggle. We saw what it meant to hang in there when life is punching you in the face. And we take that same ideal and that's what we bring to the gospel community. So when people see me as an artist, when they see me as a pastor, they're seeing me doing my best to live out as authentically this call as I possibly can. Because I think at some point when you try to operate as a facsimile of what God has called you to do, you not only do a disservice to him, but the people who you're called to lead, they're not seeing the authenticity of who God has called you to be. So I don't do fake. I don't do phony. I try to be what you see is what you get.
Yeah. So when you took over the church and, you're seeing daddy do it a certain way, but we see culture changing, what parts of what he gave you went with you and what other parts had to stay?
Ooh, a lot had to change. Our core beliefs, I think those stayed pretty much intact. But because I was dealing with a younger demographic, I was dealing with a group of people who quite literally weren't necessarily interested in the way we did church prior. I had to find ways to navigate what church was like in a modern context. My dad is 40 years older than me. Right.
Wow.
So
he had you when he was 40.
Yeah.
I had me one at 40 too.
Well, God bless your heart. But when you are 40 years older than your successor, it's a whole lot of things that he thought should kind of remain. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, man, I can't keep doing that because that worked for you and that worked for the people who you were leading. Yeah. And most churches become what their pastor is. Yeah. So I was young when I started, younger, I guess. Yeah. I think I'm still young. But younger when I started, married with kids, that's what we started attracting. Yeah. So, and one of the biggest things that I diverged from with my dad was our preaching styles. Yeah. He's one of those hoopers. He's like,
ain't that all right?
Yes.
Say yeah.
All of that. I don't do that at all.
Ain't no
I don't think I've ever, in all 19 years of me preaching, lean over and tell your neighbor, say yeah, or something like that. I've never done it.
Man, with all that singing you got in you,
never
you said, say yeah, say yeah.
I've never done it. It's so weird. And that was his biggest complaint when I first started pastoring.
You can't tune up.
He was like, you got all of this great information, but not enough inspiration. That was his thing. But what we discovered is that the new generation wasn't clamoring for that. They were really looking for information, make it make sense. How do I apply this to my life? How do I take this and give it to my neighbor? Yeah. And that's kind of where I found my forte.
So you making those strong decisions when it comes to your music, has there ever been a song that you weren't really rocking with as much as other songs, and then you ended up putting it out? Because it seemed like you have a strong, deep personality, like, hey, this is what I see, this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
But then there's a record that you're not really feeling, they put it out and it just explodes. Has there ever been a record like that for Jason?
Shifting the Atmosphere.
That song changed my life. You didn't want to do that one?
No, not at all. Shifting the Atmosphere. So when I signed with Verity Records, it was in 2011.
This is blasphemous, man.
No, I promise you.
About that.
I got on board eventually. Yeah. But Stanley Brown, Jeff Grant, and Jazzy Jordan. They were like the three people who were kind of running the label at the time with regard to me. And Stanley was like, Shifting the Atmosphere is a song. And my response to him was like, that's not even a song. It's like a segue. Literally, Shifting the Atmosphere on that record was a song that got us from the praise side of the record to the worship side of the record. That's how I viewed it.
Yeah, a bridge.
Yeah, it was like a bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when you look at the construct of the song, it's not really written like in A-B format, like verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It's not written like that at all. So I was like, it's not a song. And he said, everybody that hears this song is heavily impacted by it. One time he said he was playing it in his office and somebody walked by and just started crying. He was like, I know this is one. I was like, man, that ain't a song. But eventually, the more I started to kind of listen and pay attention, I saw that my rigid way of looking at songs was actually doing me a disservice. So I acquiesced and they went with Shifting the Atmosphere, and that song literally changed my life.
Hey, wow, listen, I know that this interview is going extremely well. I would like to give you an opportunity to connect with my team in a more intimate way. It's called the Flat Out Family, okay? Of course, this is Patreon, but if you would like to see these amazing interviews a day sooner than everybody else so you could tell all your friends about it, they air on Sunday night. So make sure that you join the Flat Out Family. And here's the catch-22. On Mondays, we have a teaching from Janai Thornton. It's all about finance. On Tuesday, we'll be giving you new job opportunities online because many of you all are without work. And then, of course, number 3, Wednesdays, it's all about relationships. Thursday, I'm trying to put some scholarship money in your student's pocket. And Friday, you never know what celebrity guest is going to be hanging out with us in the Flat Out Family. So join right now, flatoutfamily.com, or just click the little link in this YouTube, Flat Out. And it changed mine too. That's how I was introduced to you.
Wow.
I'm going down 75. I have no money really. I took a little money to come down to view the land of Atlanta.
Wow.
Because I was coming out of an R&B field and I'm riding and I meet this guy. I meet this guy, Bishop Bronner, online on Facebook. He sees my video vlogs and he begins to encourage me and say, hey, if you're ever in Atlanta, stop by the church. And I said, hey, I'm going to come to Atlanta. I'm going to stop by and see you, because he always commented it was good. Mm-hmm. And I remember coming down and I put on Praise 102.5. I'm not on the radio at the time, but I'm excited because Praise is on the air, on the FM dial. I'm from St. Louis. It's on Gospel 1600 on the AM dial. And I'm about to go up the ramp. And I remember like yesterday, Shifting the Atmosphere. It's the first time I hear it. So now I got to go find it. And I'm like, oh, it's this dude named Jason Nelson. I know nothing about gospel music, but even 15 years later, I remember that song being the song that I came in the first time meeting Bishop Bronner, who later became my mentor, later became my pastor, and now is my personal advisory board leader. So, man, that song changed my life. I'm so glad that they didn't listen to you.
Man, I'm glad they didn't listen to me. I'm glad.
Yeah. So I got to ask you this, and you've been married for a long time. How long you been married, man?
29 years.
29 years to the same woman.
To one woman.
To one woman. She your girlfriend,
all
your
that.
wife.
She's all that and then some.
So the weird thing is that you don't see that in ministry as much anymore to one wife. Like, right? What parts of ministry did you learn in ministry that you had to kind of bring back to home that was an adjustment? Because 29 years later, she didn't marry a pastor.
No.
She married Jason.
She thought she was marrying the safe one in our family. And,
because the other one gonna do something.
Right.
That's
and my
Jonathan.
brother James, he is a pastor. She was like, I had no ideation whatsoever for being a pastor. So neither one of us expected it. Yeah. But when the Lord called me, when I finally said yes, she was like, y'all go ahead.
Wow.
I mean, literally, y'all go ahead.
Now who is y'all?
like me and what my dad and whoever else is in the church. He was like,
But
y'all go ahead.
I'm cool on it.
I'm good.
Why was there such a pushback with her?
She just didn't. One, I don't think she expected it.
Yeah.
But two, I'm not sure she really got how much the Lord was really trying to reframe our church.
Mhm.
And then ultimately she just didn't want to be a part of it. Not as a pastor's wife.
Yeah.
And so I pray, because one of the things that was big for me is I'd seen broken marriages destroy churches. So I started praying. I'm like, Lord, if this is really you, I need Tanya to come on board with this.
Yeah.
And it was y'all. And then one day she was like, you know what we could do at the church? And I heard it. And I said, okay. And then a couple weeks later, she said, you know what else we could do? We could do such and such, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that was the Lord showing me that she's coming along. And now our church would be nothing like it is today if my wife wasn't with me. She's the reason why we've advanced as much as we do. She's very creative. She sees things, she dreams, things of that nature. And her input has been invaluable to who we are as a ministry now.
So when you look at your choice in the inception of you just being Jason, Nelson, maybe a singer, maybe, was there anything else that you want to do besides singing?
Oh yeah, I was supposed to be an electrical engineer. That was my thing.
I can see that. Like, you know what? Do you still get into stuff like that or not?
I'm a techie.
A techie, right? That's what I'm saying.
I'm definitely a techie now.
Right.
But that was what I thought I was supposed to do.
Right.
And I was going to do music on the side.
Yeah.
That was my thing. And even when I got called to preach at 17. So I knew that there was something on me back then, but pastoring, nah.
So what does a call to preach actually sound like?
So now I've heard multiple stories of people who talk about the call to preach. Some people hear an audible voice. For some, it's a feeling. For me, it was a knowing.
Like,
I remember where I was sitting in the parking lot outside of Tanya's apartment. And I don't know, I was sitting in the parking lot, but I remember I was kind of sitting on the stopper, so the cars don't go up into the curb. Yeah. And I was just sitting there and I felt this thing on me so heavy. You're called to preach. You are called to preach the word. And I remember going home and having a conversation with my dad about it. And he's like, okay, son. So we started, he started putting me in the preacher's classes and all that kind of stuff.
So they got preacher's classes?
We did.
Okay.
I can't speak for everybody else, but we did.
What do you learn in preacher's class?
Hermeneutics, how to, homiletics, how to preach. They had this book. It was actually kind of a classroom setting. It was a book called The Preacher and His Preaching. I'll never forget it.
The Preacher and His Preaching. Green
and white book. One of the most boring reads I've ever partaken in.
Yeah.
But it was foundational for me.
Yeah.
How to understand scripture, how to interpret scripture, things of that nature. That's the stuff that we learned. Yeah. And I still didn't preach. I just took the classes because I knew I felt this call to preach.
Yeah.
It didn't matter for years. I was 30 when I first started kind of really getting into the preaching ministry.
Wow. So you meet this woman, Tanya. Y'all growing up together. It sounds like 17, 16. You meet her.
Yeah, it's as late teenagers. Yeah.
Late teenagers. You get married with nothing in your mind that says, hey, man, I'm going to be the pastor of a church. I know I'm called, but I don't know what that actually looks like. How does one choose a woman early and then have this big call? Like, I know you chose the right woman, but it's like many marriages crash when things transition into something that one of the parties is like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
So what would you say to a younger couple who may be in question mark about their call and their purpose as it pertains to marriage? Because that has to be tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
So I think the origins matter, right?
Yeah.
I think that the impetus of a thing creates either sustainability or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a tendency, especially in this generation, to use aesthetics as the barometer for what we think happiness is going to bring. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for a dime, right? Mm-hmm. We're looking for, she got to be fine. He got to be fine, the whole nine. And while I think aesthetics matter in marriage quite a bit, because you have to like what you wake up to every day. No lie.
Yeah.
And there's somebody for everybody, 100%. But there has to be an alignment of purpose. There has to be an alignment of relationship with God.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible talks about unequally yoked and things of that nature. And how we colloquially saw it when it was, you know, when we were younger, the old school, if you ain't saved and they saved, then that's unequally yoked. But that's definitely not what the scripture means. But ultimately, there is an alignment that has to happen with regard to how you view destiny. And I think that becomes probably the most important foundational tool to help build a marriage that is sustainable through changes in life, right? A lot of marriages fail when they lose a child or when a parent dies, and the alteration of life is not factored into the marriage. And for me, for us, because we understood very clearly not only our dedication to each other, but our dedication to the Lord, knowing what the Lord was saying gave us the ability to pivot in the marriage so that when I got called to pastor, it didn't drive her away. It did create some dissension.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying yes to something she absolutely doesn't want.
Yeah.
But because she trusts my relationship with God, she started praying about this. Is what I found out later. I didn't know at the time. But she started praying and asking God to prove to her that this was the call that God had for me. And because we were both praying towards the same goal, eventually God brought us together. Not just in our marriage, but also with the shift in career path to being a pastor.
You seem like a really calm, cool guy. But I know that the calm and the coolest ones, you don't want to get on the other side with them.
Not at all.
At all. Not even a little bit. Like first time I met you, I was like, yeah. Because see, I believe this. The ones that's overly kind, them the ones who will go to jail. Because they like, hey, don't bother me. But when I remember being married and I remember having a transition in the ministry because my wife, she married Pretty Willie, the R&B guy. I'm on the road. You ain't really got to see what I'm doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know I'm out there getting it. I'm coming back Sunday with the bag and I'm doing what I have to do. And then God comes in and says your way or my way. And then coming back to make her understand, well, to try to explain what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing, which is very difficult. Like, so when it came to you having to bring this news in, what type of patience did you have to have when you're dealing with a person who may not necessarily understand like what's going on? Like, because we know God's going to do it. We know we praying about it, but there's a certain decorum that you have to have. There's certain patience that you have to have. In a practical sense, there's men right now doing jobs that they don't no longer want to do anymore.
100%.
They feel like God is calling me to go out and do something bigger, better. But right now I'm taking care of this 9 to 5. I'm afraid to tell my wife because if I tell her, she probably going to kill and destroy my dreams. Like, how does a person bring that and still be fervent about what they believe God has called them to do?
Slowly. And deliberately. So the thing is, I think we have a tendency to, because we believe what we believe, we think that everybody is going to believe like we believe.
Yes.
And that's not true. There is I think there's a chasmic difference between how we think people are going to receive it and how they often do receive it. So slowly, you know, hey babe, I really feel like the Lord is telling me I'm supposed to pastor the church. What? No. Like so I'm like, okay. But it didn't change how I felt. Her response didn't change how I felt. It made me understand that I had to approach her in a different way. So eventually we were able to have a conversation about it. And again, I'm not driving her to, this is what we're going to do. I'm like, this is what the Lord has called me to do. And then I started talking to her about what we do, what we matter. Because I'm like, and again, I told the Lord very clearly, I'm not going to take this assignment if it's going to destroy my marriage. And I also understand that if I take this assignment without her being on board, it could destroy the church. And then I'm liable for that. So for me, I'm thinking as broad term as I possibly can, because, excuse me, because I understood at the onset the viability of having the right wife who's in it, but also the detriment to having a wife who's not into it. So very slowly, very deliberately explain, over communicate. That I think that's the only way to do it. My dad is, I told you, 40 years older than me. He would make decisions and be like, that's it. That's it. It's final. This is what we're doing. My wife ain't come from that generation.
You're like, who?
Like, who? Exactly. Like, what you mean? That's final. Like, I don't have a voice. So the thing is, you have to talk to your spouse like to have a voice. And it goes both ways, from the male, from the husband, and from the wife. Like, you really have to figure out, we are called to this life of loving God and loving people and living out this call. It's not easy, right? Life is going to hit you in the face with a sledgehammer at times.
Yeah.
We have to recognize that both sides of the equation are evolving. We're changing. We're growing together. The pastor that I am today, after 19 years of pastoring, is nothing like the pastor that I was when I was installed July 7, 2007. I'm completely different. Same shell, same frame, but my mindset, my understanding, my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife is far more robust now than it was back then. And I think part of what you have to do is you have to walk into this process knowing that evolution is a part of who we are.
Yeah. And
I think sometimes relationships break because we won't let people evolve. In Genesis 12, and I don't listen to podcasts, but I'm a pastor, so.
But man, listen, we know you're going to say that word.
Yeah. It's in Genesis 12, God tells Abram, who we have the benefit of knowing will become Abraham. He tells Abram, leave your country, your kindred, and your father's house, and go to a place that I'll tell you of, and I'll bless you and make you a blessing. So we jump to the blessing without understanding what Abram had to depart from in order to become. He had to leave his country, the place that he's comfortable with, his kindred, the people who are comfortable with this version of him, and his father's house, which is the system that he's accustomed to operating under. He has to leave those three things so that he can become. So God and the Hebrew for, in the King James, it says, get thee out. In the Hebrew, it's a word, halak, H-A-L-A-K. But it's a derivative of another Hebrew word, yalak, Y-A-L-A-K. Both of those words mean to move, to walk, perambulate, peregrinate, whatever word you want to use. But yalak means to move and grow, to go and add, right? So God told Abram, go get yourself for all intents and purposes. Abram, go find you. But you can't find you here. But he's already married. He already has a family. He already has riches. He has all of the accoutrement of a great life.
Yeah.
And God says, now go get yourself. How do you handle that?
Yeah.
When God is telling you, in your success, you're not who I want you to be. That's what happened with us in our marriage when the Lord called me to preach. Excuse me. I had to go and get the Jason as a pastor, but I couldn't go and get the Jason as a pastor without my wife.
Yeah.
So we both had to grow into the version of me that could be seated in the office of a pastor that didn't exist when I got the call.
You went and got the pastor. While going to get him, what happened to Jason the man?
He had to grow too. Because there, and this is not to infer that I lived a perfect life by no means, but I had to become too. There were some, spaces in my life where I wasn't necessarily as upright as I needed to be. Not living in sin, just not as holy as I needed to be. I think all of us have that space. We ain't sinning, but we also ain't living as right as we should. I had to make those adjustments. I had to reframe my thinking as a father. Because at this point, we had, my daughter was still alive and my wife was pregnant. And so I had to start reframing what it means to be a pastor and a father. Because I grew up as a PK and I did not want my kids to have a similar experience that I did. Because my dad, the church was everything and the family was a mistress. And it wasn't intentional, but he was just so intent on his call that we often kind of had to take a backseat at times. And he would try to make up for it when he could, but that was kind of like the vibe that he had. It's like, I'm all for God and y'all are coming with me. I didn't want to have that experience with my wife and with my kids. So I went in telling the church up front, like, hey, if I got to make a decision between y'all and my family, it's going to be them every time.
Yeah.
Church is always going to take a backseat to my family because the first ministry that God has called us to is family.
Yeah.
Like in Genesis 1, be fruitful and multiply is a command to take care of family.
Yes, indeed.
To do what you're supposed to do with regard to your household. And then the Bible even says that if you don't rule your house well, you're not, it's not worth being a leader of people if you don't rule your house well. So for me, it was understanding my framework as a man, not just a man of God, as a man. I had to make sure that I made the proper adjustments to protect and insulate my family from what I was becoming.
Yeah.
Because my becoming a pastor put my kids at risk.
Why is that a risk for the children?
Because pastoring, you pastor people.
Yeah.
And people want what they want. They do what they want to do. And oftentimes they're not necessarily as concerned about the well-being of you and your family as they should be. They grow to that. Yeah. But there's almost always an entity in the church that has some kind of nefarious ideology about what the pastor is supposed to be, how the pastor is supposed to what they're supposed to do with regard to them. Because my dad came from a generation where the pastor was all. I tried to disabuse people of that. Like, no, my job is not to be the mediator between you and God. Jesus did that.
Right.
That ain't my job. Yeah. My job is to get you closer to Jesus.
Right.
My job ain't to be the intermediary between you and God. Right. You have your own relationship with God. The middle wall of partition, the veil is torn. You don't need me to be Aaron for you. I'm not going on a day of atonement, exactly. With fear and trembling, afraid that I'm going to die if I don't get it right. Yeah. That's not my job as a pastor. My job as a pastor is to to either introduce you to God or bolster your relationship with God.
Yeah.
But my job is not to be the intermediary between you and God.
Yeah.
My job is to tell you, according to John, you can boldly go to the throne of grace. You can do that. Yeah. You don't need me to do that. So reframing people's minds was also protecting my family from what I dealt with when I was a PK.
Got it. You shared when your daughter was alive. Was that your oldest daughter?
Oh no, my daughter's still alive.
Your daughter alive. Okay, yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. So so just going back, so you protect your family, you do what you're supposed to do. Is that something that all pastors have to fight with? Because I was just talking to Bishop Walker out of Nashville, and he talked about when he had to bury his wife. And people were still, after a few days, it's like, all right, time to preach a funeral. He ended up preaching 735 funerals, and he had to deal with that pain every time the casket opened and closed.
Yes.
I feel like that is so selfish. How can people who go to church, the parishioners and people they go to church every single week, what would be honorable to a man of God in regards to honoring them with their humanity? What does that look like? Because I think that part hasn't ever been taught.
It's not been taught because the inference is that if you're a part of this process, then God is going to cover you through your pain. And it's like, no, God does cover you through the pain, but you got to give me time to process that. My mom passed away in June of last year. My pastor came to church and said, he's not going to do this, so I'm going to do it for him. I'm putting him on hiatus for 30 days so he can deal with the loss of his mother without having to deal with y'all. Because it is impossible to fully grieve as a pastor while also dealing with the rigors of people. It's almost impossible. You're going to put yourself on the back burner for the people. And the problem is grief requires you take that time to deal with yourself. And the people are not going to assume you're not okay. If they see you, they think you're good.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's a mystique around pastoring that pastors, you grace to do it, hand of God is on your life, so forth and so on. So people assume nothing bothers you because we are forced to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and keep it moving. You have to train people to view you through the proper lens.
Yeah.
That's not always easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it requires telling them no. Sometimes it requires them not getting what they want. Sometimes it requires you removing yourself from a scenario. Sometimes for me, those 30 days were absolutely necessary. Because to be honest with you, I was going to keep going. I was planning on preaching the next Sunday.
Yeah.
And the church, everybody, all of the leaders, the pastoral staff, everybody had to make the adjustment. As my pastor said, he won't be here for 30 days. Don't expect to see him. Don't call him. Don't email him. And I needed that time. 3 months later, my wife's mom passed away. Right? And to do the same thing. But this time, now I'm the one that's helping her. Because I just went through it. She went through it with me. Now I'm walking through this process with her. And so now I'm protecting her from people. Mm-hmm. And our people love my wife, love her.
Yeah.
But love can be overbearing.
Yes.
When there's no understanding.
Exactly.
Right? So we had to reframe people's thought process because everybody's vibe on healing or I want to mourn with you. It doesn't always comport with what you desire, what you feel in the moment.
Yes.
Like I had somebody come to me and they just kind of stood there like,
I didn't want that.
And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that. No. I don't. Because it almost comes across like you want me to cry on your shoulder.
Yes.
You ain't the shoulder. You ain't the shoulder I'm crying on.
I want my mama.
I want my mom. And if I don't have her, I'm gonna cry on my wife's shoulder.
Yeah, but I don't need
your shoulder if you don't get out of here.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
I totally understand. December 23rd, my biological mother, she transitioned between me and my big brother. And that was the first time second time I found some attention that I didn't want. My team had to make sure. They said, well, you showed them you meeting her and, we had 6 great years together, became really good. And my mom and my mom are best friends. And that was the first time I was like, I'm not posting that. Like, I don't, cause it's hour by hour. I might be okay for this hour. And then I meet you and everybody's spirit is like, man, I just know anything I can do. I'm like, I don't know what you can do. Just do something. Like, what do you need? I'm like, I don't know what I need. This is really, really weird. So I'm glad that you took the time or just honored. What I heard was a pastor with a pastor.
Yes.
What greater humility, right? Like to have somebody that you can honor and submit to. Yes. And I think that's the really big problem in ministry, because if you don't get a chance to do those 30 days, looking at the hand of God now, if you don't get a chance to do those 30 days, unknowingly 3 months later, you're going to have to be the counsel that you need. And without that 30 of data, what happens to the marriage when you don't know borders?
Yeah,
boundaries?
Exactly.
That's my wife. I should be able to, because I see a lot of divorce happen right when mama dies, somebody dies, and it's like, oh, they don't handle me correctly. Thank you for the humility to have a pastor, because I totally understand what it's like. As I was sitting there, because my brother thought it would be a great idea, or maybe I thought it was a good idea. Either way, we came up with that I would be the speaker at the funeral. Mm-hmm. Probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. Kept it together. Everybody had a really great time. My mom was a jovial woman, so we kept it light. And it was really, really good. And then I had to sit there and face those feelings. And I had to explore what parts of me died with her. What parts of you do you believe went on to glory with your mom?
Excuse me. For me, I think it is like her laugh. My mom was always joking. She, people don't know how funny my parents are in general. Mm-hmm. But my mom was one of the people who kind of was the life of the party. Even though she was, 88, she was always laughing, always joking. And for us, it was kind of that. I don't know that we lost that or that it went on to glory with her. I think we do our best to honor that particular facet of who she is. For me, I'm just trying to hold on to as much of it as I can. Yeah, I can't even lie. I ain't trying to give up none of it. Are there parts that I probably think will ascend at some point and we'll let go of? Probably. Yeah. Right now, I'm grasping I'm holding on to everything I can that's your mother. You know what I mean? Like you get one. And she was my biggest champion. My mom would go into the stores, like this is when CDs were still a big thing.
Yeah.
She would go into the stores and rearrange. It's Jason and Jonathan. So, okay. She would take our stuff and put them in the front out of alphabetical order. She didn't care. Yeah. She did it everywhere she went because that's how she was. Like, these are my babies. And that's kind of a microcosm of like who she was in general with regard to her children. So for me, you know, I'm still holding on to all of those things. I still remember all of those things. I remember them fondly. So for me, I'm just, you know, she was a prayer warrior and an intercessor, and all of that stuff is still in me. Yeah. And so it's like when I pray, you know, we do 5 a.m. prayer at the church. When I'm doing that, she would always log in. Every time I do, she literally. So now when I do the 5 a.m. prayers, I'm always remembering, Mom's not logged in today. And it's, you know, you gotta cycle through that in your emotions, and you got to do it fast because I got an hour prayer. But it's something that constantly stays with me. So I'm not giving up anything. I'm not trying to release it to that degree. I'm trying to grow, let it becoming better than who I am, and become a better person as a result.
Do you think this grief will require even more time off to kind of discover what Jason is without Mom?
No, I don't think so. I think I learned what I needed to learn at that point. And one of the things that I learned is that I'm still learning. I'm ever a student. Grief, I don't know if you ever fully stop grieving. I think you learn to adjust to what grief does.
Yes, sir.
And you pivot when it happens so you can keep moving.
Yeah. So as now your wife, Tanya, and you both sit here without Mom, what conversations do you all have to be support to each other during this very unique season? Like, it hasn't even been a full year of both of you guys working through it. How does it not become a bicker fest or just pain fighting pain? How do you guys stay on one accord?
Well, her mom lived with us.
Oh, God.
Right. So our relationships were melded into the fact that we cared for her. So that's how we sustain each other. It's a lot of, remember when such and such, we're keeping the good memories at the forefront. Our moms are not points of contention for us at all.
Got it.
They're points of connectivity because we see how we both gained 2 mothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we lost 2 mothers within the course of 3 months, but we remember the good stuff. We don't let death become the harbinger of negativity in our house.
Good.
Not at all. We understand that we need each other and we flow like we need each other. Yeah. So we support each other. When she has one of those moments, I go and I support her. When I have one of those moments, she comes and she supports me.
No, that's good. For the men who are watching, men have been calling and investigating church and Jesus. Why do you think men have such a hesitation when it comes to church and worship?
Because historically the church has been feminized. That's the short, easy answer. Yeah. We've made the church easy for women and hard for men. You know, the way we dress, the way we conduct our services, everything seems slanted towards a more feminine perspective. And I think what we have to do is we have to bring men back into this understanding that, and without being patriarchal or misogynistic, because that's also problematic. Yeah. If you go on the other side of the spectrum, the pendulum swings kind of both ways. And we're trying to get people to kind of live in that center piece. Yeah. We're not too feminine, not too masculine, because either one can be detrimental or deleterious. But for us, at our church, I'm trying to present manhood as authentically sound when it comes to loving God. You don't have to give up your masculinity to love God. Yeah. You don't have to fall into any kind of old school paradigm or anything of that nature. I'm trying to be as genteel as I can because I'm still pastoring people. But really just, we try to find ways to let people know you can authentically be who God has called you to be without having to dilute it to fit an ideal that may not even be biblical.
Can a strong man worship, and what does that look like?
Like this. Absolutely, a strong man can worship.
Yeah.
I am a strong man. I'm the lead worship leader at our church.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't lead. I'm not talking about praise and worship.
Yeah.
I'm talking about I'm the lead worshiper in our church. As a pastor of the church, my first responsibility is to model worship.
Yeah.
Because worship is the foundational key to relationship with God. It has always been that way since the garden until today. And I try to model that as much as I can. So yeah, they look at me, they see a masculine, real man worshiping.
What's the, final question. What's the one misconception that women have about men who are in ministry?
In our modern day context, that they're all whoremongers, in my mind.
Yeah, they're gonna be some hoes.
Yeah, you're a hoe. You sleeping with all the women in the church, and I'm like, I know a lot of pastors who don't fall within that motif. They love their wives. They're not sleeping through the church. But like, if you want to, we talked about, being docile and that anger part. Like you don't want to see that. You want to see me mad? Try to run through our church as a man.
Yeah,
that will piss me off like almost nothing else will.
Yeah,
because as a pastor, when the people come to the church, they become your spiritual children.
Yeah.
To see a dude running through the daughters of the church is a big no-no for me.
Yeah.
And I model what it means to show people this is my wife. I talk about it almost every week because I want them to know I'm in a happy marriage.
Yeah.
29 years and counting. I ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
It don't mean we don't have trouble, but we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And we try to model that. But so for me, I'm doing everything I can to try to make people see that what you think it is with regard to men in leadership is not that.
Yeah.
That I can hug you and not want you.
Yes.
I can love on you and not want you.
Took me a long time.
I can pray for you and not. I don't want you.
Yeah, I don't want you at all.
I love you. Come and give me a hug.
Yeah.
Now go about your business. Because I'm going home to her.
Yes.
That's who I want to be with.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be with you. I'm not interested. I don't know what you got mentally, emotionally, physically. I ain't interested.
I don't want to know.
Just know I love you with the love of God and go about your business. I'm going home to Tanya.
Yeah. Family, listen, I got to land this plane. What I heard today was a man of integrity and character. What I heard the underlying thing was that although not perfect, he had a father who modeled what Christianity could look like. And he gave him a model. So specifically to my men who watch the show, I'm so grateful that the numbers on men are going up tremendously because we keep it 100 flat out. Fellas, no matter what has happened in that home, model what you talk about. Because a lot of things that you try to teach and you like, hey man, I taught it. The children never caught it. They can only catch what you display. So my challenge to you today is you heard a lot of what was going on. The underlying foundation of it all in the beginning was, man, I got this ministry stuff from my dad. I seen him do it. He wasn't two different people. There were some adjustments that I had to make with the church, how I ran my house. But foundationally, who my dad was, I learned it from him. When your children get older, fellas, somebody's gonna walk up to your daughter. Somebody's gonna walk up to your son. And they're gonna say, you remind me so much of your dad. It's up to you now to find out if that's gonna be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
Love yourself more. Flat out.
Love you more. Love you more.